Daily Roundup with Nina. Now, a high-level delegation from the European Union is visiting Namibia from the 17th to the 19th of September to strengthen EU-Namibia ties and explore opportunities in green industrialisation, renewable energy and sustainable development. As part of the Global Gateway strategy, the visit seeks to deepen cooperation and boost investment, as well as accelerate Namibia's role in the global green economy. We're now joined this evening and we're speaking to Dupont, who is the EU Deputy Head of Mission, about the goals and expectations of this visit. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. Well, let's get right into it and talk about, why this EU delegation visiting Namibia at this particular juncture is so important. And let's go over some of the main goals for this.
Well, it's quite a big visit. We have both the European Commission Commissioner for International Partnership, Mr. Joseph Sikela, coming, as well as the DEVE Committee of the European Parliament and 9 parliamentarians visiting. So they represent both the executive and the legislative branch of the EU, and they're here really to review the EU cooperation with Namibia, to see what we are doing here and to see if it's really delivering real impact for people on the ground. Also
explain to us in a little bit about the Global Gateway strategy. What is that and why is it important to Namibia?
So Global Gateway, it really is a new way of doing development cooperation with partners around the world. It's our offer to bridge the investment gap around the world. So as opposed to in the past when development cooperation was about building a school here, a hospital there, now what we want to do is we want to use our support to spur private sector development. And that's really why the green industrialization in Namibia is such a great opportunity, because with limited funding, limited international development cooperation funding, we are managing to bring private sector to Namibia to invest, to put their own money on the table, because we believe in Namibia and the hope that it brings.
Why green industrialization? Let's go over that.
Well, I think you need to see it in the wider perspective. Climate change remains a real threat. And we see it in Namibia, we see it all around the world, we see it in Europe. There's droughts in parts of Europe as well. There's been huge forest fires. So we realize as Europe that we need to remain committed to the Paris Agreement and to our goal of climate neutrality by 2055. And so for that we need partners around the world with whom we can work together. And especially where the green industrialization in Namibia is so interesting is because you have the abundant resources of sun and wind and seawater, which can be used to create these green hydrogen molecules. And that can then be an input to various industries which are very difficult to turn to solar energy directly. This is, for example, shipping, but iron production. And that's really what we're here to see in Namibia, these projects that are happening at the coast, like high iron, Cleanergy, and our cooperation with Namport.
Fantastic. Take us through the meetings or events that are planned during this visit.
So the most important one is obviously the one with the President, where the Commissioner and the parliamentarians will meet with the President and a number of key ministers who will be there as well. Then tomorrow, the European Parliament will meet their counterparts in the National Assembly. They'll have an extensive meeting with the chairs of the various standing committees, and they'll discuss things like parliamentary oversight and the role of the Parliament in any democracy in terms of holding the government accountable and making sure that government works in the interest of the people. Other than that, we're also reviewing some of the projects here in communities, women-led communities, and the fight against GBV. Then at the coast, we will be attending the Cleanergy opening, which is being launched in attendance of the Prime Minister, and various other projects such as an electrification project in DRC Swakopmund, the high iron facility where the people are producing green steel for export, and Namport, where we're hoping that our collaboration could lead to a cooperation between the port of Antwerp and Bruges and the port of Walvis Bay, or the port of Rotterdam and Luderitz. So really it's a full-scale mission. They're here to work.
100%, it sounds like it. Well, Ian, with the EU and Namibia sort of coming together in this new industry like green industrialization that we just touched on, how do you see this EU partnership, EU-Namibia partnership, transforming in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, Namibia and the EU are already the main partners in terms of trade. We have the largest trading relationship with Namibia that spans a very wide variety of goods and services. And with this partnership and with the Global Gateway flagship on green industrialization, we really want to break ground on a new industry and build further on that. And what's important here is that we're not just here for a specific resource or specific item. What we want to do with Global Gateway, what we call the 360 approach, is we want to support Namibia in developing its legislation and regulation to make sure that Namibians can benefit. And then there's a very large training component on TVET skills. So one of the projects we'll be visiting is at NIMT in Arandis, where we're working with NUST and the private sector, Zero and Hyphen, to develop a new curriculum so that Namibian students can learn the necessary skills to also benefit and get opportunities from this.
Yes.
And in the end, that's what it's about in Namibia. I think your president has been very clear. Job creation, opportunities for youth is the priorities. And as partners of Namibia, that's what we want to help with.
Fantastic. I was actually just going to ask you about that. But seeing that we're coming to the end of our conversation, what's the hope that will be achieved at the end of this 3-day visit?
Well, I think we want to show to Namibia that we're here to deliver concrete results on the ground. And so what High Iron has shown, what Cleanergy will show, what NIMT will show, is that these things are not happening in 5 or 10 years' time, they're happening now in Namibia. And so by going there, by taking the time and bringing the people from Brussels here, we hope to bring some emphasis and show the Namibians that it's not just all rhetoric and slogans. We're slowly delivering on the ground. And I think after the hype of green hydrogen and then the backlash, now comes the delivery phase. And I think that's what we're here to do, to show that Europe is delivering for Namibia and its people.
I can't agree with you more. Mr. Dupont, thank you so much for your time this evening and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you have it. When we come back after this very brief break, our conversations here on the Daily Roundup continues, so do stay with us.